Hello and welcome to another episode of the Career Reset podcast and to the final part of the Career Detox series. I can't believe it because this idea lived in my head for so long, and then I was thinking about it, how to make it most valuable and relatable, and now this is the final part. I hope you've been enjoying your summer. I hope you've took the time to relax and maybe also took the time to reflect, to think about what are some of the things from your past that are holding you back and how to let go of it. And I hope this series has been a good companion on that journey. If this is the first part you're listening to, you must go back and listen to the previous ones. It's like some of the most valuable things I've ever recorded. If I had this series 5 years ago, it would have saved me so much self-doubt and so much stupid decisions that I made from a place of unprocessed past. And today we are bringing that whole series together with the last part that is actually the real problem. So over the past weeks, I've been talking about letting go of bad decisions, bad people, lack of action, but the point is not doing that for the sake of it, that you will feel lighter and you will have processed past. Like that feels better for sure. But the problem with all these negative experiences is the way they shape people's confidence. It's actually the number one problem I can spot with my clients, whether it is struggling with job search, struggling to move forward in their career, is lack of confidence. And that is not something that just happens out of nowhere. Like that is not a virus you catch when somebody coughs on you on the public transport. That is a result of a series of negative experiences in our career, in our studies, in our life that we internalize as, since we have had these bad experiences, it means we are not as capable as we maybe at one point thought. And I find it really interesting that when I work with fresh graduates, like people who are still at uni and they don't have that real life work experience, they actually are pretty confident, especially if they are good students, like everything has been going well in their life. They are really ambitious, like ready to take on the world. I'm not criticizing it. I think that is actually wonderful. But then they get into their first job and boom, doesn't turn out what it was promised in the interview. Their boss is an asshole. They keep overworking themselves and they get nothing in return. And one experience after another, it's a cut to that confidence. It makes it smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's a constant sequence of, okay, I'm actually not as good as I thought. I'm actually not as smart. I'm actually not as capable. I'm actually not as good at this and that. But it's not like this is inevitable. This is just the process that many people go through, and they interpret every single negative thing as that having to do something with them and that inherently defining who they are and what they're capable of. But none of these things can really do that. Like the fact that your boss doesn't agree with the way you work doesn't mean you are an inherently incompetent person. The link is not there. The reason why they could be giving the feedback, there can be so many, and it most often has something to do with the person who is giving the feedback and their expectations and their experience and their insecurities. But not many people are able to pause, think about it, listen to the feedback, decide if we agree with it, if that's something we really want to act on, and if not, then we just let it go. And the main problem is that how most people react to these negative experiences and that shaping their confidence is that they start cutting back on action. So I've had bad experiences. Because of those, I have low confidence. So it's better to do the bare minimum and not even try. That is just a very common sequence. But right now, especially if you are on a job searching journey, this is the economy, the time, the situation in the world where it requires a lot of effort. And if because of these past experiences you are at the point where you feel like nothing you do matters, you don't have what it takes, you've had bad experience, so any job you will have will inherently be a bad job again, all jobs suck and all that kind of stuff, that is the real problem. That is what I'm trying to address in this series. I know the name can sound a bit funny, like, yeah, career detox, ha ha ha, all our jobs sucked, but I want to get a bit serious in this last episode, because all it takes in the end are two decisions. Decision number one is only I know what I'm actually capable of, and the future is wide open for me. Those are the two things I would love for you to carry forward. And if at one point in your life you were that excited, ambitious young professional, that person is still part of you. The only problem is that it's been pushed down by the baggage you've collected throughout your career. And with these episodes, I've been trying to help you remove some of that baggage. And I hope now we are able to get to the bottom and to pull out that excited, confident professional you once were, like when you really thought that the world is your oyster and you will get out there and you will slay your career. Yes, that person was maybe very unrealistic, but the excitement that you felt back then about your career, can you tap back into that? I like to think of it that you owe it to that person, that literally wherever you are in your career, you can turn things around. There is an exciting possible future for you out there, but you need to decide that the past stays in the past and 100% of your focus from now on will be on the future. Because I know that you are not the average employee. How do I know that? Because you are listening to this episode. You still want to turn things around. You do want to have that exciting career. If you didn't, you would be scrolling TikTok right now. You wouldn't be listening to an episode about how to detox your career and how to move on. And the thing with confidence is that it fluctuates. It's not like that once in your life maybe it was high, maybe now it's low, so it's low forever. You can bring that confidence back up. And now when we cleared out and decluttered some of that baggage, now you have more space to think about and to build your career from the ground up, from where you left off, from wherever. And if you have listened to my episode on confidence, you know that I believe the best way to build confidence is through action. What I really hope this series gave you is an excitement and motivation to go out there and try and go for it. Go for whatever you really want in your career. The permission to have that fresh start. And even though you now don't feel 100% confident, the only thing we can feel 100% confident is about the things that already happened, that we have the most factual proof that it is possible and that we had what it takes because we did it. But the exciting thing is that from now on, you get to build that one step at a time by proving to yourself that you can do the things that scare you. You can rebuild your confidence and you can become more resilient to anything that comes along in the future. Like the point here is not that you had negative experiences, so let's build a career which you will only have positive experiences and everybody will be nice and the companies will always succeed. That's impossible. Chasing that kind of future is a totally lost cause. But what is not a lost cause, what is possible and what is the best way forward is to believe that through your past experiences, you have become more resilient professional. You can handle the same things that have happened to you in the past and more. If any of the situations that happened to you in the past happens to you again, you will be able to spot it much faster, you will be able to react much faster, and the impact it will have on your confidence and self-image will be much smaller. So although I don't wish on anyone to go through negative experiences in their careers, I wish the stories that I hear on a daily basis, that those were fiction, that just would not be happening in the world, but I can't change it. But what I can do is to turn that around and make you all aware how all those experiences make you resilient. For me right now, being an entrepreneur, navigating really big challenges, why I'm able to do that? Because my career hasn't been very easy. I have gone through way more negative experiences than positive, but instead of making that mean that, okay, I'm probably not meant for big things, I'm probably meant for some super basic, boring jobs, and that's what my life will look like from now on, I decided that if I could go through all that, then I probably am meant for pretty big things and I can handle pretty hard things, which is basically what entrepreneurship is all about. But any career you want to get on right now, because of what you've been through, now you are more capable, more resilient, and you just have what it takes. Like that is a given. And if you start taking action from today, you start going after the career you really, really want, with every step along the way, you will build that confidence back up. And with every step you take in the future, the past will become less and less relevant. I really do not care at all about anything that has happened to me in the past, like my multiple layoffs, working with stupid people, doing jobs that were completely dead end. I'm talking about it now because it's on topic, but I don't think about it. I don't care. Like, I have a business to build. I am busy. I'm excited about where my career is heading. So the best way to let go is to think it through, which I hope these episodes have helped you to do. Let it go and then move on. And not move on in the sense of like, okay, now I burned the past and I am light, and like in some philosophical sense, but to let go and move on through action. And if you are ready for that fresh start, for that next level in your career, then I would love to invite you to a free webinar called How to Get a Fresh Start in Your Career and in Your Job Search. You can find the sign up info in the description box or in the show notes, depending where you're listening to. And it's like the perfect next step. If you've enjoyed this series and you feel very energized and motivated and ready to go, but you don't really know where to put all that energy, then in the webinar, I'm gonna give you some tips what you could consider. So I hope you enjoyed this series, even though maybe we revisited some parts of your past that didn't feel that great. I hope that the impact and that the weight of all these decisions, actions, events, people is now smaller. It is still part of your career. You cannot erase it. But if you give these things smaller weight than they deserve on your shoulders and on your career, you create more space to build new things, to build new exciting career that I promise is waiting for you out there. But it was until now just hard to see because of all the things that held you back. So I really hope you enjoyed this series. I hope I will see you in the webinar. And from next week onwards, we're going back to my classic long podcast. Make sure you're subscribed to not miss out. I have a lot of cool plans what I want to talk about in the autumn, and I'm always open to ideas what you would like me to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed your summer, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye bye.